Pour moi, le Tour de Corse, c'est cette sensation, hein. Des souvenirs quand on était jeune avec les vieux pilotes, et maintenant ça continue, tout le monde attend ça chaque année. C'est un sport qui est magnifique, magnifique. Les gens, ils attendent beaucoup, beaucoup ça. Ça fait vivre beaucoup de choses qui sortent de l'ordinaire, quoi. C'est tout à fait normal, parce que ça donne des sensations. Hein. Alors, pour les gens, c'est quelque chose. Hein. C'est même extraordinaire. Hein. Si on ne le voit pas, on croit même que c'est même pas possible de pouvoir faire des choses comme ça, hein, avec une voiture. Hein. C'est une tradition. Hein. C'est comme quand on attend pour les processions. C'est une religion. C'est le Tour de Corse. Hein. C'est normal. Hein.
A tradition woven into the fabric of the WRC history made on this island. And we'll bring you all the best action from the next chapter of the Tour de Corse story. A key protagonist was sure to be Sébastien Ogier, a Frenchman back in a French team, and with 2 wins from 3 this season, it's looking like a triumphant return.
Starting a new adventure, it's nice to go back to this team because I think they can give me the opportunity to keep winning.
Known as the Rally of 10,000 Corners, Seb Marshall and Chris Meek explain just how critical pace notes are in Corsica.
I've always described pace notes, they're like poetry.
Right, 100. Very tight, fast to 4 left, late, 50.
The 4th round of the season, the Tour de Corse is the first true tarmac test of the year, a chance for the WRC field to charge across the mountainous Corsican landscape. Then it's on to the 3rd continent already this season, 2 South American rounds before a return to Europe for the summer. We started the season with the closest finish in Monte Carlo history. Much to the disappointment of Thierry Neuville, Sébastien Ogier beat him to the line for his 6th consecutive victory in the Principality and a 100th win for Citroën. In Sweden, the 6-time world champion saw his rally end in a snowbank, while after his 3rd place finish in Monte, Oyt Tanak charged to victory, claiming an additional 5 points from the power stage. Cue the champagne at Toyota. Mexico was a different story for Tanak. First on the road as championship leader, he swept a line of grip in the loose gravel to the advantage of his rivals, but still he fought back to finish 2nd. No such luck for Hyundai. Thierry Neuville had an early blow to his hopes with a puncture. He clawed his way back to finish 4th after getting some tread back on his tyres. But it was Ogier who took a maximum points haul in Mexico, adding the bonus points from the power stage win. The reigning champion has won 2 of the opening 3 rallies this season. Despite those 2 wins, it's Tanak at the top by 4 points in the Drivers' Championship. Thierry Neuville drops to 3rd, but just 10 points split the top 3. Chris Meek on 35 points in 4th. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Toyota leads Citroën by 8 points. M Sport need a good, strong showing here in Corsica to boost their challenge. This jagged rock soaring up from the Mediterranean Sea to the south of mainland France presents the landscape for the unique challenge that is the Corsica Linear Tour de Corse.
It's obviously the first proper tarmac rally of the year, let's say, so big challenge with a lot of new pace notes here, so hopefully we've got them right and we can push.
Very technical rally, very demanding. When you have such a huge amount of corners, and every corner is different, you need first of all have good precise pace notes and then a car which gives you confidence to push. And that's the key thing you are looking for.
You need to be very confident, committed from the beginning. And you have over 10,000 corners in this rally, and every corner, if you lose even 0.1 or 0.05, it's a lot at the end of the stage.
And let's not forget the men helping them navigate those corners. The pressure is on the co-drivers in Corsica.
It's probably the busiest event for the co-driver, both on the recce, writing all those new pace notes here. 75% of the route is new, and then on the rally, it's incredibly intense. One of the biggest buzzes of the year, just in that zone, firing out the notes and the driver reacting straight away. It's kind of where we earn our money, I guess.
Ott Tanak may be the championship leader, but Sébastien Ogier will be chasing down a third win this season. And he'll have his old nemesis Sébastien Loeb to contend with too.
I have some good memories from here because I won my first title here, so it's always a pleasure to come back for sure. Last year I was competitive here, even if I made a mistake in the beginning of the rally. I will try to avoid this mistake this time, and hopefully we will be able to be in the rhythm. It will maybe not be easy, but we will try.
A lot to contend with here in Corsica, but it's Ott Tanak who'll be first into those stages. The Estonian with a warm welcome in Porto Vecchio, despite the big support for his rival Seb Ogier. Friday's competitive action would be run to the south of the island, with a loop of 3 stages repeated for a total just shy of 122 kilometres. Unusually, there is no midday service today, so little chance to patch up those cars before the afternoon loop.
A famous island where co-drivers earn their money. It's not for the faint-hearted, this place, as the tour headed south to start and spring. And in the past, this island has been the place where Ott Tanak has struggled. But since he climbed into this Yaris last season, it's been a different story. And Corsica, chalk and cheese in comparison to Mexico, our last port of call.
Basically, first time we are on tarmac this year. Everything's different, the cars are low, the rims are big, there is a lot of grip from the ground, so everything's different, but with some smooth roads, we should have some good fun.
Now, you can prepare for most things in this sport, and they do. But a herd of cows on the road, now that wasn't good fun. Tanak forced to brake. Costly? We'd find out later. Now, Mexico was good fun for the defending champion, Seb Ogier. In Mexico, Ogier was perfect. Everything went according to plan. But as our Sweden winner, Ott Tanak, pointed out, everything had changed for the first asphalt, and not for the best. A rare and early mistake from the Frenchman, his C3 behaving a bit like a diva on stage 1. Thierry Neuville, without a win this season. Ogier passed him in the championship standings after Mexico. Neuville would want to hit back, and hard. An immediate disappointment for Chris Meek. Up on the timing splits, straight into his stride.
Well, that left continues to long flat right left hug, okay. Into right 80. Left,
but then, the front left of his Toyota Yaris shattered after that impact. His pace notes had told him to keep to the inside of that corner.
Left hug for 60. And opens. 100. Do you want to stop or go?
Meek dropped 51 seconds on Corsica's opening stage.
Into right 80.
He deliberately hugged that corner. The pace notes he'd written were wrong.
Oh dear, Chris. We can see what's happened. How did it happen?
I don't know, just on a corner, I have no idea. I just followed my notes and something caught me on the inside. I don't know if it was a curb or something, but it was completely unseen. I don't know.
The stage 1 winner? Well, that was Elvin Evans.
Into 4 right round stones, keep in. 30 narrows, 5 right.
A camera at the front of the M Sport Fiesta illustrating how much certain sections of these roads had changed. They were newer, they were smoother, they suited the Welshman. But watch out for those curbstones. Starting his first asphalt rally for Hyundai, the 4 times Corsica winner, Seb Loeb. But on only the 10th kilometre of the tour, he was off the road. The reason? Well, he'd turned for that left-hand corner, but the I-20 hadn't. A curb had snapped his rear suspension. 2 minutes and more would be needed to fix the broken parts.
Sam, that's a disastrous start. What happened?
I hit a border, so in the left-hander I went a bit, I slided and hit a bit and it broke the suspension, I think.
As the dust settled on an action-packed opening test, Elfyn Evans leads the charge with Belgian Thierry Neuville a mere 2.9 seconds adrift. Ogier's spin leaves him over 12 seconds off the lead, down in 8th. Not a great start for the French in their home event. In this sport, even a 9-time world champion has to get his hands dirty. But would Loeb be able to do enough to compete in the next stage? Welcome back to Corsica. This was the incident that saw 9-time World Rally champion Sébastien Loeb break his Hyundai on the opening stage of the day. Loeb and Elena are used to making roadside repairs in both the WRC and when competing in the Dakar. Would they make it to the start of the next stage?
The cat was out of the bag early on Friday morning. Loeb in trouble. Ogier off colour. What Oyt Tanak didn't need telling, this was a great opportunity. The conditions were benign. The roads looked great. There was good grip. Oyt was quickly into the swing of things. Off colour, on the back foot, call it what you wanted. Seb Ogier doesn't normally hit anything on the first stage of a rally. So from here on, his co-driver needed to be word perfect, and his delivery of these vital notes needed to be silky smooth. So Chris Meek was already onto his spare wheel. But he knew he had a job to do to get all of that time back that he'd lost with that stage 1 puncture.
Care unseen, tight 3 right.
Meek rode his luck, and the curbs at times, in an immense hurry. Meek, the stage 2 winner. Elfyn Evans was in a rush, hurrying with the kind of speed that thrust him into the lead here 4 years ago.
Flat left and keep right of a long crest and flat left, left of a 70.
There was a dote from co-driver Scott, an instruction not to cut a corner. Elfyn neat, tidy, precise.
Elfyn, surprised a few people with your pace this morning, but have you surprised yourself?
You're going to make me sound cocky now, aren't you?
Tidy and tight-lipped. Now, it's 14 years ago that Seb Loeb was surprising people, winning every single stage here. The leader then from start to finish. Great spannering from Loeb earlier on this year, but now he needed speed and lots of it. Now, believe me, we haven't just speeded up that footage of Jari-Matti Latvala, but appearances were deceptive. Jari-Matti had turned to the pace notes he'd prepared 4 years ago when he won this event. A lot had changed since 2015, and those notes wouldn't do the job today.
Oh, a little shake of the head there, Jari-Matti. You're not looking entirely happy.
I tried to use notes from 2015 and you can see that how bad they were. I mean, incredible, incroyable.
The top 3 split by just 3.5 seconds, with championship leader Oyt Tanak our early leader. Evans in second and Neuville in third. No midday service on Friday, so no opportunity for any major repairs by the mechanics.
It's been a good morning. Obviously, car is performing well, so quite nice to drive. Many new stages, so not really perfect notes. Some places my rhythm is not as good as I'd like to have or to expect, but generally still quite good, and yeah, really no worries.
The Corsicans relaxed and ordered another round. Watching the rally without even leaving their tables. Meanwhile, Friday's top two performers tightened their belts and went at it again. Oitanek into the Bavella stage for the second time. Fresh rubber, a new resolve, old rivals with problems, and it was another good time. Once again, Oitanek beating everyone, bar one man, that was. Because Elfyn Evans had got the bit between his teeth again.
4 right done and caution 5 left sharp.
The clock ticked away to the time that Tanak had set. Tanak the quickest man down this road so far. Sharp called the co-driver, and he had been. Take that, Tanak. Evans quicker by 2.7 seconds and back into the lead.
Oh, yes, Elfyn Evans, there's something about this stage that you like, leading the rally again.
Yeah, it was good. To be honest, I had a pretty good run. I was hoping the time would be good. You know, it was really neat and tidy, but still fairly on it, so yeah, happy.
Confirmation of Evans' lead of just 1.4 seconds over Tanak, with 2 stages left in the day. Precision is key in Corsica, and there is no margin for error. A lead can disappear in an instant.
Go early, fast 3 left.
As Chris Meek and co-driver Seb Marshall experienced earlier, the slightest error in pace notes here in Corsica can have dramatic consequences.
Right. 7K to go.
Obviously a mistake in my notes this morning. I had a keep in on a corner and something was there. I touched something.
Meek and Marshall will be kicking themselves after their thorough pre-event preparation.
Corsica, traditionally we all know it as a rally of 10,000 corners, but it's so intense. Intense for the driver, but particularly intense for the co-driver.
2 left in and right, under short flat 4 right fast hug. Flat left and early long 6 right.
The preparation for the co-driver on a rally, particularly the Tour de Corse, starts a few weeks, maybe even months before we actually get to the island. This weekend we've got 75% of new stages, so 25% we can use from previous years. So for myself, that involves, you know, looking at Chris's pace notes from last year with Paul and translating into my own language.
4 right slowing them very early, 2 left lost hold.
And then for the 75% that's new, it's just a case of fresh books at the start of the recce and take down all the information that Chris reads out to me.
I have basically a straightforward system where 1 to 6, 1 being the slowest corner, 6 being the fastest. You slice that all up between having a plus and a minus on each of those numbers.
Essentially, the pace notes are written in 2 columns, and you read down the left-hand side of the page, following the pace notes with your thumb, and then you can read down the right-hand side. The idea is it's just a lot clearer. There's 1 note per line. There's no chance of missing a note or skipping a line. And early left into 4 right don't cut, and early 4 left plus, and go early fast 4 right hug, into slow.
I'm relying on Seb for the timing right, and for him accurately calling them, and that's a unique skill which, you know, only co-drivers can do. And the prime example is last year in Corsica. Unfortunately, Paul made his first ever mistake with me in the co-driver's seat. He called a 5 instead of a 3.
18, tight flat 5 left open, stop 15 left, ties the fast 5 left and stop, 3 left minus, and the 2 right minus. Oh, Jesus. 5 left.
And I would pull 5th gear going into a slower corner, and I would clean off the road.
You've got to be reading it in advance. But when these sections are just fourth gear, fifth gear, lots of quick changes of direction, often it's a case of, you know, you've just got to keep the rhythm going, keep reading.
That's the skill of a co-driver, to pick the timing up, the speed of a driver up, to get to know the driver, and I think that's one of the challenges myself and Seb faced this year when we started afresh as a new partnership, is for Seb to understand how I drive, the rhythm I drive, and how I like the notes. I've always described pace notes, they're like poetry. Everybody has their own interpretation.
You
know, there's one section, it goes corner, 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 and it's all fourth, fifth gear, completely blind, and it's ultimate trust, ultimate speed, ultimate rhythm. Yeah, when we get to the end, then you're either happy or disappointed with a stopwatch, but that's a challenge we face.
Go early, 3 right plus 50.
Ultimate trust. Only that produces ultimate speed. But look, the poetry wasn't yet producing the fairy tale. Chris and Seb still a long way off the top 5 in 9th. And this was the section Chris and Seb were talking about. And having explained the theory, putting it all into practice is the ultimate challenge. And we can now picture Chris's pace notes, Seb's thumb dropping note by note down those 2 easy-to-read columns. But then there's one dirty corner 1.5 kilometres down the road, and you want to cut it, and there it was.
Oh, no. 2 right, double tightens minus hug. 1.
And it ruins it all. The rear right of Mick's Toyota taking one hell of a thump. Oitanek wasn't pushing his luck quite like Mick. Oit had developed a lovely turn of consistent speed, paired with a great rhythm on these relentless blind corners. Tanak wouldn't pounce just yet. His time would come. Seb Ogier closed out Friday writing a long mental list of all the things he wanted his mechanics to do to his car to make it work. Right now, he couldn't make it any faster. It was riddled with understeer. There was no way to make it any better. This morning, Jari-Matti Latvala realised his notes were old and slow. In the afternoon, he had a real concern. A slow puncture midway through the stage. The pair discussed a plan of action. An immediate change of wheel was required. The delay would send Latvala tumbling out of the point-scoring places. Thierry Neuville reckoned his notes for Friday's stages left a bit to be desired. But he quietly worked his way into a podium position. And then ended the day like this, recording a stage win. So now, the lead wasn't that far off. And that he'd be working on Saturday. No, Friday belonged to Elfyn Evans. He came out of the blocks at breakneck speed, snatched the rally lead. He'd done Wales proud. And even when the mighty Oitanek had taken the lead off him, Elfyn had refused to lie down and die. But this was a real problem. That was the ailing, slowing Chris Meek. Meek nursing his wounded Toyota. Elfyn had caught him. This was no joke. It would take Toyota and M-Sport to sort this one out. Elfyn was losing his hard-fought lead. There was no way past. Narrow roads, big drops. Don't worry, we'll get our time back, Evans was told.
Elfyn, how frustrating is that? You seem to spend so much time behind him.
Yeah. Seb told me I got 3 minutes.
These guys are friends. So Meek apologises.
I know Chris well. He wouldn't do it intentionally, but
I hope it gets resolved in the way it should. That's all I'll say.
Chris, obviously problems in there for you, but it took you a while to spot that Elvin was behind.
Yeah, I had the conversation with Seb on the stage, and Seb said hopefully he's got this 3 minutes gap. But obviously the organisers didn't give it. I wasn't expecting him to come. I don't want to get involved in the race with the lead, so I'm sorry to Elvin, but sorry.
Evans is given Tanak's time, so holds on to his lead at the end of an enthralling first day here in Corsica. Tanak is just 4.5 seconds behind, with Thierry Neuville a further 5 seconds back. The battle for the lead would intensify on day 2, the longest of the rally, in fact the longest of the season, with 3 different leaders and the Corsican roads catching out even the most experienced competitors. Corsica, a mountainous island rising up from the Mediterranean Sea. A coastline boasting Europe's finest beaches gives way to a mountainous interior. And it's here that the unmistakable sound of the Tour de Corse rips through the peaceful early spring air every year. 3 rallies into their Citroën homecoming, Sébastien Ogier and Julien Gracia have won 2 of 3 rallies and given the team the boost they were desperate for.
Of course, I would have signed for this. Starting a new adventure, you're never really sure of what you're gonna get, and you see that there is something special growing. It's always a little bit special atmosphere when you have the wish to make this French story working together. I think many guys were happy to see us coming back after years racing against them. Definitely feel that there is a strong motivation in the team to be performant again and to win rally, and for sure so far they are very happy, but we are also all aware that the season is going to be very long and the competition is very strong. Everyone knows that I ask a lot to my team because I ask a lot to myself as well. And of course, results are helping. If you're immediately achieving good results, immediately the mood is going better, and that's make your life easier. But I'm already putting a lot of pressure on them to keep going.
The first spell at Citroën ended somewhat acrimoniously, with the then young Ogier hustling for top spot with his then teammate Sébastien Loeb.
Yeah, it feels like a different life. Many things happened, and like I say, I always had very good relation anyway with the technical team of Citroën. So all the engineers or mechanics which are still there from the time of 2011, I also the kind of man who focus on the positive. There was some difficulties back at the time, and we definitely grow from that. I've done mistakes as well, and now I just think that it's nice to go back to this team because I think they can give me the opportunity to keep winning.
Ogier won a 3-way title fight on the last round in Australia last year, and those same 3 drivers have picked up where they left off this year.
Having 3 drivers around 60 points after 3 rallies, that's quite exceptional. So that means the 3 of us had a strong start. Even Thierry, he didn't win rally, but he was still scoring good points so far. So yeah, it's promising. That means probably we will have to grab every point we can during all the season if we want to stay in the fight.
6 titles don't come without sacrifice and single-minded application. But is that still the motivation for Ogier?
Of course, some years ago, I had only rally. That was my main focus, and there was nothing else in my life. Of course, I guess it was important to have, because that's probably where I developed a lot and where I reached the level where I am today. But today also I need my family for my balance to be happy, and I need to disconnect completely for rally sometimes and go home and just play with, like you say, my son, my dog, and of course spend time with my wife too. And then as soon, of course, as I put the helmet on and I'm in the race car, then I still enjoy a lot to do my job. That's still what I love the most, push the limit and fight for some win. Otherwise, you should stop. You need to be 100%, especially in our days where the competition is very strong. We just mentioned how many different guys are able to fight for win right now and different teams. So if you're not there at your best, I think you have quite little chance to success.
Saturday in Corsica would be the longest day in terms of competitive distance in the entire season. A loop of 3 stages in the north of the island, hugging the rugged coastline, including the epic 47-kilometre Castanesia.
Well, now in this sport, before there was Seb Ogier, there was Seb Loeb. But let's be honest, this tarmac debut in the Hyundai hadn't exactly got off to a good start for him, and on Saturday, it didn't improve. Understeer at this left-hander, which tightened on the rally legend, and he and Daniel Elena were in that ditch. Although, thankfully, he got out without any damage to that I-20. A nervous car was becoming a theme. Esa-Pekka Lappi. He had it bad too. He described Saturday as horrible. The front of his C3 would not grip the Corsica road. And if you were a fan and watching with a camera, you could see the Finn taking evasive action when it all went wrong. Seb Ogier still didn't look as if Citroën had dialed the understeer out of his C3. He wanted it tamed for what was going to be the longest day of the season so far. But Ogier would ride the bumps, and Ogier would dig deep. On Saturday, the rally headed north. Teemu Sunninen's rally almost went south, getting off to a terrible start. But having a strong word with himself and finessing the Fiesta setup, he was back on the straight and narrow. Danny Sordo had a strong opening loop. His pace notes were poetry. And they helped him in Saturday morning with the fastest time in the long Castagniccia stage. It's great when a plan comes together in this sport. And the leaderboard and the point situation were looking much healthier now for Hyundai. In front of Sordo, Thierry Neuville. And Neuville had been waiting for this part of the tour for a year. This was the first time he'd enjoyed this stage. Last year, it had been an utter disaster. The duel was intensifying at the top of the leaderboard. Tanak had sharpened his weapons, crashing through the traffic calming, taking care of the roads, where the old-style Corsica was now beginning to show through the tired tarmac. This was Tanak cutting through Elfyn Evans' ambitions on stage 9. He was getting the lead back from the Welshman. Elfyn didn't start 9 well. He got into trouble. It was on this slow, gravel-strewn corner. Now, the slip didn't appear to be very big or last very long, but by the end of the stage, well, by then, the clock was the bearer of bad news.
Left of a 70. Tight handbrake right, round ball, even.
Elfyn's lead had gone, and it had gone to Tanak.
I touched something on the rear after a dirty cut, like quite early on in the stage, and it just altered the handling ever so slightly. It wasn't a big deal, but it didn't help. But we pushed hard. It was very dirty, to be honest. So much pollution on the road. It was very difficult to read the grip, so we had to do what we could do.
Confirmation then that Tanak takes the lead from Evans. Further down the leaderboard, Ogier taking the place of Sunninen. Saturday afternoon in Corsica, and some guests are welcomed to town. It's not every day that you get to see the best rally cars in the world driving up the high street. Even worth disturbing a game of pétanque for.
Corsica, at its very best. Looked like a film set. Every corner revealed a new vista, and the picture in the rally was going to change too. It was the most consistent period for Chris Meek. He won stage 10. He found better grip in these cliff-top roads. He changed the damper settings on the Yaris, but then after Friday morning, he had an awful lot of miles to make up.
20, danger, tight 3 left, don't cut. 60, left of a crest, 60 slowing, long 2 right, cut. And fast 2 left, nips.
Corner after corner after corner. And still no time for the driver to think. Still no time for the co-driver to breathe among all of these instructions. Seb at this point, though, realising that his Saturday C3 was little better than the Friday one. Good views on Corsica? Here's some more of the best, hovering over the Corsica asphalt at the front of the World Champions car. It had been a stage or two since the latest of the changes in our rally lead. Tanak had had a good Saturday. Good that was, until, like Latvala, a mystery flat. And suddenly the Estonian was pulling over. He was losing time. This meant he was dropping down the leaderboard. A new wheel was needed, Oit decided, and that meant the end of his victory bid. Thierry Neuville on the final stage of the day. It was the giant one. That was the old and broken one that seemed to go on and on forever, and with dodgy grip. When they said that this edition of the Tour was the test of the star's stamina, this is the part of Corsica they had in mind.
We have as a mission to don't make a mistake for the Manufacturers' Championship, as also for the Drivers' Championship. So, but I had a good feeling with the car. We raised a little bit the car from this morning, and the handling was nicer, so I was able to attack.
And a glance at the clock showed Neuville had done very well. Set the fastest time. Last to attack him, Elfyn Evans.
Left of a 70.
But this growing block of red numbers was hard to swallow after such a huge effort. The lead that the Welshman had inherited from Oit Tanak. It was no longer his, it was now Neuville's. Another twist, another Corsican turn.
Elfyn, what's happened in there?
No idea. It felt like a good stage. No idea.
So no mistakes, nothing you can put your finger on?
Nope.
Difference now 4.5 seconds, all to play for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all to play for, but that's disappointing.
Thierry Neuville times his charge to the top of the leaderboard to perfection. He took 16 seconds out of Evans on the final stage and now has a 4.5 second lead with 2 stages remaining. Evans had battled hard to be at the top. One thing was for sure, he would be determined to hit back in the morning. Would Neuville hold him off? The last day of the Tour de Corse, and our top runners are gathered pre-start before the decisive final 2 stages.
Focus to try to stay ahead of Danny, or power stage points?
Both, I would say. I mean, for sure, we haven't won any stage in the weekend, so we know it's going to be tough to win the post stage, but we keep trying, and still some adjustment in the car. Let's see, maybe today it works better. We have to hope for that.
Feeling relaxed this morning, Thierry?
don't know if we are relaxed, but we are quite confident. The car has improved a lot. We had a good drive, so now we have to bring it to an end.
Sunday comprised of just 2 stages, but totalling 51 kilometres. Centred around Calvi, where the bonus point power stage would end. But first up, stage 13. 31.85 kilometres of Eau d'Azilia.
On Sunday morning, there was a whisper in the Calvi Hills that Elfyn Evans was going to do Thierry Neuville as early as possible on the first of the 2 remaining stages. M-Sport's team had other concerns alongside Elfyn's new ruthless streak, and they were for Teemu Suninen, closing out a very impressive debut in one of these top cars. Having got around the island and this far, the Finn, they said, mustn't let things get the better of him. And he didn't.
Teemu Suninen, what have you found this morning? That's a great time in there.
Yeah, just good run for us, and I have had the monkey on my shoulders, and was telling to calm down and relax and bring the car home, and I gifted some banana to him, and now he's a nice guy.
Seb Ogier was getting introduced to his C3 all over again. Improvements overnight seem to have brought out its wild streak again. So on this, the penultimate challenge of the weekend, he was beginning to realise that the car might threaten his podium hopes in the end of rally power stage. Then, through the distance, came Elfyn Evans. And listen to the intent. The ambition.
5 left sharp, Dawn, keep in. 3 right, opens tight, 5 Dawn, opens maybe, keep in. Into lady, 6 left minus, long, keep in. 30 King.
How Elfyn's car clung to the tarmac on the stage 13 corners.
4 right minus, keep in, right of a 30.
He was leaving absolutely nothing out there.
Left of a 80 King. Flat right, left of a 70. 3 right, keep in, right of a 50. 4 left sharp, Dawn of a crest.
My goodness me, you've done absolutely everything you possibly can in that stage.
We had a good stage. I was pushing. It was not perfect everywhere. Inevitably, when you push that hard, then you miss a few apexes, etc. But it was okay.
Not perfect. You'd have to go some to beat that kind of speed. And Thierry Neuville was struggling. Struggling to beat it? No, take a look at the clocks here. He was struggling to keep up at all. Where was the end of this stage, he asked himself. Neuville had leaped 16 massive seconds. That was heaps. And now Evans had the lead back again.
Thierry, my goodness me, the time's not there. What's happened?
I don't know.
Does the car feel okay?
Yeah, but moving a lot. I was moving a lot and I couldn't go any faster.
Elfyn Evans with the bit between his teeth, laying down his marker to the top 3 title contenders for the rest of the season. Neuville's lead had been smashed, and Evans now at the front by over 11 seconds. Between the 2 stages, a regroup in Calvi.
One more stage to go, Elfyn. Obviously the power stage. I'm guessing there'll be no power stage push from you in here.
Well, I don't know. You know, it's still 18 Ks. It's not like it's 6 or 7 Ks. You know, it's and it's bumpy and demanding and technical. So, to be truthful, we've seen, you know, how a big gap can be created quickly by one good or bad stage. You know, so we can't take anything for granted in here.
Corsica, a place of highs and lows. But before the final punches were thrown between Evans and Neuville, well, Chris Meek was about to melt the last of Corsica's coastal roads, lighting the afterburners on his Yaris.
Into left, 80, caution, right, times 3 right, hard.
Meek was putting the power down in the power stage, all right.
And
but then Chris had to, didn't he?
Sudden early 2 right in.
Tanak's trust in the roads had been eroded yesterday. No Mexico madness now from the Estonian. He wouldn't be matching his teammate. Seb Ogier done his level best to deflect the inquisition on his power stage ambitions. He dropped much more time than Tanak. A podium, it seemed. Well, he would have signed for that on Friday lunchtime, wouldn't he? Last but one round the coast road. Last night's leader, Thierry Neuville. What had he achieved? He'd have to wait. Well, at least we tried, he told his co-driver.
I pushed like hell in the stage and my time is but okay, a positive weekend for us. We improved the car on tarmac, that's good, so we have to thank the team for that. Everybody working in the team very hard, so we made some progress, but we need to do more, so it's encouraging for us now to see that we can go in the right way, but yeah, now I'm a little bit shocked.
One crew's left out there. The interested parties watched on, and here he came.
Sudden 4 left, 30, 3 right sharp maybe, right over 40, caution twist, 3 left sharp, 3 right don't.
But then, what was that?
3 right minus, right over 100, 3 left minus.
There was a yeah from Elvin. About what? About this? See it? A square metre of missing road. It had punctured Elvin's tyre. The wheel, the front right, down to the rim. The Fiesta, slow. The team gutted. The opposition, suddenly, incredibly, back on for the win. The final few metres for Elvin.
4 left plus, round wall, sudden 5 right plus.
A stone, he asked his co-driver. No, that patch of rotten road. So the win was Thierry's.
Chris Meek's tyre-saving tactics worked as he took the 5 bonus points from the power stage. While Tanak claims an extra 4 valuable points, and Thierry Neuville would not have believed his luck.
Thierry, congratulations. What a mixture of emotions from the stop line to here.
Yeah, really, we got the message in the car and I tried to contact the team by radio to get the confirmation, but we were not sure. And arriving here, I saw my mechanics and I straight away understood that we won the rally. So I'm really disappointed for Elfyn, who did a really good job, but at the end I think we deserved it as well. We are pushing very hard all the time and never give up.
Yeah, obviously it's difficult to accept like this. Okay, it happens, you know, a similar thing maybe happened to Oid yesterday, you know, there was some hole or piece of stone that had lifted. We felt it straight away, it was very unexpected, and shortly after I got the puncture alarm, I tried to drive on it just to see if we could minimise the time loss, but as soon as it started to delaminate with like 6 Ks to go, I wasn't sure even if we'd have to stop and change it, but we persisted to try, and at least we have the podium, but not what we wanted.
Thierry Neuville never out of the top 4, putting himself in the best position come the final day. A champion's drive from Ogier in 2nd and a devastated Evans in 3rd. Thierry not the only happy man at Hyundai.
We are all there to win, not to enjoy the staying together, and the staying together will come after. So we have won and we have to build up on this.
You received the trophy, you had a long look up in the sky. Who were you thinking of?
Someone that is no more with me from some years, and I like always to see Shep.
So we have a new championship leader. Neuville takes maximum points and moves 2 clear of Ogier in 2nd. Tanak, who was leading going into the weekend, drops 2 places down to 3rd. Just 5 points separate the top 3. Elford Evans' third place sees him leapfrog Meek to fourth. It's all changing the manufacturer's standings too. Hyundai takes top spot, 12 points clear of Citroën, who stay in second. Toyota drop down to third, with M-Sport bringing up the rear. Thierry Neuville almost embarrassed to be on the top step of the podium, but takes his first win of the season. The WRC title fight looks like it's shaping into another intense battle. Next up, we're in Argentina. Don't miss a minute.
Yeah.